Hey friends, I'm Amy, and today we're making chicken tikka masala with homemade naan and cumin-scented rice. And I have to admit, I was a little intimidated by this one. I've wanted to make Indian or Indian-inspired foods for so long, and I just kept shying away from it because it looks really complicated sometimes, and it's very different from the usual foods that I cook. And confidence is my kryptonite, which is really sad because I love it so much, and now I'm gonna have to cook so much food. It's not even funny because this turned out so beautifully, and it was also so much easier to make than I thought, and I worked myself up for nothing. So let's get cooking. And what's the first thing we always do? Choppy prep. First, we need a total of 4 teaspoons of minced garlic, which will be around 4 to 6 cloves, depending on the size of your garlic. You can also finely mince up a large sweet onion, but we are going to go onionless for this one. When the garlic is minced, set it to the side, and now it's time for our chicken. For this, we need about 1.5 pounds of chicken breast, and we need it cut up into bite-sized pieces. Trim off anything you don't want on the chicken, and then let this sit for a moment while we mix up our marinade. In a large bowl, we need 1 cup of either plain or Greek yogurt, 1.5 teaspoons of ground cumin, 1 teaspoon of garam masala, a teaspoon of salt, 1/2 teaspoon of red chili powder, which is not cayenne. If you don't have this though, some paprika and cumin or paprika and ancho chili powder will work. Add 2 teaspoons of our minced garlic, as well as 2 teaspoons of grated ginger, and then 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. Whisk this together well until all the ingredients are well combined and there's no clumps of seasoning floating around in there. Last, add in all of that diced chicken and stir until all the chicken is fully coated in our yogurt marinade. It is a pretty thick marinade though, so just kind of keep folding the chicken in and breaking apart the chicken pieces that want to clump together until everything's fully coated. Cover this with plastic wrap, and you want to push the wrap down into the bowl so it's directly against the chicken. This keeps air from hanging out in there and drying out our chicken, but it also keeps the meat in contact with the marinade for the whole time, which gives the marinated chicken more flavor and also keeps it more tender. Pop this in the fridge for a minimum of 1 hour, but longer if you can. I marinated this for 5 hours, and this chicken was perfect, so I would highly recommend at least 4 hours. Now let's make our naan, and this needs a little timing because we don't want our naan to get cold before the chicken is done. So about 1.5 hours before cooking the chicken, that's when we'll get our naan going. In a large bowl, add 1/2 cup of warm water, which we want between 105 and 110 degrees. Add in 2 teaspoons of sugar and 1 packet or 2¼ teaspoons of instant yeast. Whisk this up well so the yeast and the sugar melt into the warm water, and then let this sit for a few minutes to hydrate that yeast. While that yeast hydrates, crack 1 egg in a small bowl and whisk it up like you're making scrambled eggs. After about 5 minutes, go back to the large bowl and add 1/4 cup of either regular or Greek yogurt, our beaten egg, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and 3 tablespoons of olive oil. Stir this all together until all of these ingredients are combined and they look sort of creamy looking. Now add in 2.5 cups of flour, but make sure not to scoop the flour. Spoon the flour into the measuring cup and then level it off. If you scoop the flour, you'll end up packing the flour in, sort of like brown sugar. Then there will end up being too much flour in the dough, which will make our naan too dense and dry. Stir that flour into the wet ingredients until it comes together into a shaggy sort of a ball. It will be relatively sticky at the moment, but it'll still have enough body that you can work with it. Like, it shouldn't be extremely loose and goopy. Turn the dough onto a floured surface and knead it gently until it comes together and forms a much smoother, almost shiny ball, which took about 3 minutes for me. I also put a tiny amount of oil on my hands when I first started kneading to prevent the dough from sticking to me, but the stickiness starts to go away pretty quickly. Oil up a clean bowl and place the dough into that oiled bowl. Roll it around for a second so it has a thin coat of oil to prevent it from drying out. Cover it and let it sit in a warm place in your kitchen to rise until it doubles, which should be about 1 hour. When the dough is doubled, we're going to turn it out onto a floured surface. cut it into 6 roughly equal pieces and then shape each piece into a ball. Gently press the dough balls into patties and then roll out each dough ball until they're 1/8 to 1/4 inch thick, which is going to be about 6-inch diameter circles. To the stove. Heat a cast iron or heavy bottom skillet over medium-high heat and brush it with some oil, about a tablespoon of oil to start with. When that pan is nice and hot, place one of the dough rounds on the hot oil pan and let it cook until the bubbles are going crazy on the top, which should be about a minute, and then flip the thing over. Cook the other side for about a minute again until the bubbles are golden and they get a little bit blistered. Now, if the naan starts getting too dark, turn the heat down to medium. We don't want it to get black and charred looking. Cover the naan with a clean kitchen towel or wrap it in a towel, just to keep it nice and warm and fresh. This naan is beautiful. It's soft, it's fresh, it's just lovely. Now I'm gonna throw some rice into my rice cooker. I could make it in a pan, but I really don't want anything taking my focus away from the chicken. I also love this little thing. It makes rice so easy and convenient. I can just set it and forget it. I poured in 2 cups of water, 2 scoops of rinsed long grain white rice, basmati specifically if you're trying to be authentic. Last, I added a little ground cumin for flavor, and that's our rice. Set it and forget it. Now for our star, our chicken tikka masala. Pull the marinating chicken out of the fridge and check out how fabulous that looks. I really wish smell-o-vision existed because this smells so delicious. Okay, to the stove, and add about 2 tablespoons of oil to a large cast iron or a heavy bottom skillet like this one. Heat the oil over medium-high heat until it's hot and shimmering, and then start adding the chicken in batches. We want to sort of pan fry or sear the chicken so it gets some golden color and a little bit of crust. Now the chicken won't fully be cooked at this point. We just want to bloom that flavor with that Maillard reaction going on. When the chicken's all seared, set it aside on a plate, turn the heat down to medium, and add 2 tablespoons of butter to the pan. When the butter is melted and bubbly, and if you're using an onion, add in the minced onion and saute it till it's soft. If not, go straight to adding the remaining 2 teaspoons of the garlic and 2 teaspoons of grated ginger. Add both of those to the pan and stir continuously for about 20 to 30 seconds until they get really fragrant. Add in the seasonings, 1 teaspoon each of cumin, smoked paprika, ground coriander, and garam masala. I also added a bunch of onion powder to add some onion flavor, and stir those for a few seconds just to toast the spices. Pour in 8 ounces or 1 cup of tomato sauce and stir this up to incorporate those spices in there, scraping the fond from the bottom of the pan because we definitely want that flavor. Let this simmer for about 3 minutes until it thickens and starts becoming a deeper red color, but stir it often so it doesn't stick. I would also recommend adding a pinch or 2 of either regular or brown sugar to cut some of that tomato acidity. Now add in 1 1/4 cups of heavy cream and stir until the cream and tomato are fully combined. I started slowly to avoid curdling the cream and then just stirred until I wasn't getting tomato streaks anymore. Add that chicken back in, including any juices on the plate, and stir everything up so the chicken is fully submerged and coated with our delicious sauce. Let this simmer for another 10 minutes or so, or until the chicken is fully cooked through and the centers of the largest pieces reach at least 165 degrees. You can see the color continues to deepen as it simmers until we have this beautiful, creamy, deep, orangish red sauce. And my kitchen smells like my local Indian restaurant, which is so delightful, and it's making my tummy start growling. Oh, here we go. A bunch of our lightly cumin-flavored rice, a generous portion of chicken, and top it all off with our naan. I brushed the naan with some melted butter on the bread, and you can also add minced garlic to the butter as well, which is just delicious. And here we have it, chicken tikka masala with cumin-scented rice and homemade naan. I'm almost speechless how good this is. How do I describe it? Can something be creamy, tangy, tomatoey, warm, smoky, aromatic, savory, a little sweet, and slightly spicy at the same time? Because this is that, all at the same time. It's amazing and slightly awe-inspiring. This is a type of meal that is really intimidating in the beginning, and then a little chaotic while it's cooking, and then astonishing when it's done. The flavor has like Marianas Trench depth and baklava levels of layers. If you've never made this at home, please do yourself the world's biggest favor in the world and give this a try. Even if you don't go all out and make naan from scratch, the chicken is divine and quite possibly one of the best things I have ever made. Thank you so much for watching my video. Please like and subscribe, maybe leave me a comment below. I want this channel to be a warm and thriving community where we can come together, make delicious food, share recipes with each other, talk about meals we've made, and just enjoy having some company for dinner. Stay tuned on Wednesdays for our copycats because we're making all of our favorite restaurant, takeout, fast foods, all at home. And those have been so much better than anything I've ordered for dine-in, takeout, or delivery. We're also getting at least double the food for half the cost, and many times doing even better than that. I hope you have a wonderful week, and I'll see you back here next Sunday for another comforting, cozy, home-cooked meal. Bye!